26th of January, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Got it.
Okay, beautiful.
Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Barry. How's everyone today?
Baruch Hashem, good morning, Rabbi. How are you?
I'm fine. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo, first year Yeshiva Tzama here in Yerushalayim Kerub Zoom. This is our first year in the morning. Pierke Avos. We're moving a little bit deeper into our understanding of Rabbi Akiva's statement. Did you get the email in the new document for today that I sent last night?
I did. Did you guys get it? I sent it to everybody.
Yes. We got it.
Yeah, I didn't print it though.
Okay, I'll put it on the screen if you want, whatever's
Okay, that would be good.
It should be coming up there now. Yeah, here we are. Okay, yes, this is again and further explanation, a deeper explanation, understanding of Rabbi Akiva's statement. Who would like to read? Any volunteers? Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Roy. I volunteer.
Okay, any objections?
Overruled.
I want to recount.
Okay. So, Umasimni Chach.
Yeah, this is again from this is a parish of the Mishnah for the Rambam. Okay, that's what we're learning here now. This is a quote from the Rambam. V'simane hachamim, right?
Oh, the signs.
Well, simani, yeah, signs, indications of wise people, indications of wise people. I mean, if you want to know a person who's wise, right? One way to know if a person's wise or not is as follows.
I see. Mi'ut hadvarim. Few words.
Yeah, they speak little. They're not speaking a lot.
Amru, it is stated, Siag lechachma shtika, a fence for wisdom is silence. V'ribenu hadivarim me simane hasaklim.
Haskilim. V'riboy hadivarim simane haskalim. And the riboy divarim and many words, riboy is many, divarim, many words, simanim are signs of the fools.
Fools.
Yeah, Kasil. That's he's going to quote the pasuk in Koheles actually.
V'kol kasil berov devarim, and the voice of a fool. There are many words in the voice of a fool.
Right.
Ukavar amru hachachamim, and already the wise men said, she miut hadvarim mora al rum hamotzei v'hayus ha'adam mi'ochas, miyuchas.
That is unique. Unique. Mucus is like unique.
Okay, so Amru michasusa sheti kusa. Okay, so the kavar already already they said the wise one said that few words teach.
More is like is indication, is an indication.
Few words indicate
Rom Hamtsua. Rom Hamtsua. I think this means the Roim is like the elevation. Hamtsua of what is there. The like the nobility, the specialness of what is there. Meaning higher other miyuchas, and that means that the person is a unique person.
What is hamotza?
I think that it's something which is Rom Hamotza, the dignity which is there to be found, like from the Motz is something. Motsui is something which is common. Matsu is something that is there.
Oh, I see. So it's through the fact that there's few words that it's found that a person is unique.
Yeah, his uniqueness or his dignity or his exaltedness.
As it is said, what is this word? Michasosa.
Michiusa shetikyusa. Michiusa, the uniqueness is in his quietness, in his silence.
I see. Okay. Okay, so the Rambam is indicating to us that few words is a simon of wisdom, and a lot of words is a simon of foolishness.
Right.
And through a person's silence, he reveals his uniqueness.
Right. Very good. That's right. Right.
Okay, so now it's Rabbeinu Ovadia
Mibartanura.
Bartanura.
Right.
Siag lechachma shtika. A offense for wisdom is silence. Bima anan kayamin. With what do we establish?
Yeah, he's meaning like he's sort of asking a question. But ma'anav kaimi, meaning in what way is this supposed to be fulfilled? Meaning saig lechacham yishtika. So he's wondering how are we supposed to fulfill this, and now he's going to present two impossibilities, and therefore he's going to come up with a third possibility.
Okay. Ibishtika midivrei Torah, if it's with silence involving words of Torah, hare kama kavar kasiv v'hagis bo.
That he's just quoting the first two words of the pasuk, but it's v'hagisa bo yom v'layla, right? V'hagisa bo yom v'layla. We should be actively learning it day and night. Meaning we should always be speaking words of Torah, right? So it doesn't make sense to say shtika is in reference to a silence in terms of the words of Torah, because we're supposed to be continually actively speaking words of Torah. So it doesn't seem to be appropriate to apply that to words of Torah.
Ibashtika marchilos vilashon hara viklala. If it is with silence regarding talebearing and lashon hara,
Slander.
Lashon hara, you're saying is slander?
Yeah, you could loosely translate that as slander. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And rechilas is talebearing.
Right. Very good.
Okay. The kalala and cursing. So if it's talking about silence regarding talebearing, slander, and cursing, doraisa ninahu. This is specified in the Torah.
Yeah, these are specific prohibitions from the Torah, right? So it's not so simply that you should be quiet. You're prohibited from saying these things, right?
Right. Ha eino midavar ella bishtika midivrei harishon shebein adam lechavero. It is that there is not there are only speaking in silence, only words of silence from words of the initial words that are between a man and his friend.
This is divrei harishus. These are words that are permitted. That they're divrei rishus. There's something which is permitted words, meaning they're not obligatory, either in the positive sense of divrei Torah, that you have to go speak those words, and obligatory that you don't speak those words, like sheker and cursing and lashon hara, right? So these are words which are in the zone between that which is obligated to say and that things which are forbidden to say. That's divrei rishus. Ha eino midaber eli. So now this is therefore only speaking this statement. Saig lechachma shtika. This shtika is only referring to shtika medivrei rishus, meaning refraining and being silent from speaking those words which are words of rishus, permissible words. Bein adam lechavero, with those between speaking words between you and somebody else.
So this is talking about small talk, chatting.
Yeah, well, that if it's devarim betalim, that's also something a person should refrain from doing, right? So it has to be, if people are discussing something discussing whether it's going to snow tomorrow or not. So it might be important whether you want to buy extra milk or buy another loaf for bread or something like that. But in these kind of things, there's no mitzvah that you should enter into these conversations.
Okay. Sheyesh lo la'adam le'ma'at hadibor behem kol ma she efshar. And that there is for him, for a man to limit his words in that all which is possible,
As much as possible.
as much as possible.
Right. So when it comes to divrei rishus, there is a person to reduce these words as much as he possibly can.
Okay. Alehem Amar Shalma
Shlomo.
Shlomo. Oh, Shlomo in Mishlei. So concerning this, Shlomo says in Mishlei, Gam Avil Mecharish Chacham Yachshav. What is Havil?
Avil is also a type of a fool, right? Shlomo Melech, I forgot I think there are a large number of different expressions that Shlomo Melech uses to refer to a fool, and they have different connotations. But Avil is also a type of a fool.
And what is Mecharish?
A person who's deaf and dumb is called a cherish, right?
Oh.
So this is a verb. Macharish, he makes himself speechless. So even a fool that makes himself speechless, chacham yechashiv, he'll be considered to be wise. That
okay.
He may not know much. A person may not know much, and may be even to some extent foolish, right? But unless he opens his mouth, no one will know it. So they'll consider him to be wise, even though he may in fact be foolish or unknowledgeable. Rabbi Victor Miller, Zechron Lebracha, he spoke about that he had someone, a member of his shul, and fine, very nice person in his shul, and he sent his son to learn here in yeshiva here in Eretz Yisrael, right? So his boy was learning here in Eretz Yisrael, and happened to be that the shidduch was made with a Israeli family here, and for people who were Talmidei Chachamim and such, and the father was, as I say, he was very, very proper person, he was a kosher yid, but he wasn't very well versed in Torah. He wasn't what you call a Talmid Chacham. So he was getting ready to go to the Chasana here in Eretz Yisrael. So he asked Rabbi Miller what he should do and what he should talk about. He says, he can't compare to these the other people, the father of the Kala, the grandfather of the Kala, that they're Tamim V'Chamim, they're learning day and night and all these things. He feels very inadequate. So he quoted him this pasuk. Also a simpleton who silences himself, he'll be considered to be wise. So I said, say as least as you possibly can. The more you quiet, the more they'll consider to be wise. So that's what he did, and he was successful. Okay, let's go on to the next commentary. This is the Akedis Yitzchak.
Okay, Siag lechachma shtika, offense for wisdom is silence. This is from Avos. V'kevan tam shegeder hachachama v'simana hamuvhak hu hashtika.
Period. Right.
Okay, so what is kavan tam? His intention?
Right. Well, the meaning of this statement in Avos. Okay,
the meaning that is that a offense of wisdom and a sign of mufhak is I forgot what. Pardon?
Simon mufhak is a sure sign, unmistakable sign.
Oh, a sure sign of it is silence. So a offense of wisdom and a sure sign is shtika. Shtika is a sure sign and fence for wisdom.
Right. That yeah, Barry wanted to say something.
I wanted to ask, I've heard the phrase Talmud Muvchak. Does that means that person is a special Talmud of someone?
That's right. That's right.
That's the idea.
Right. Muvak. The word muvak means it's a unmistakable here in this unmistakable sign or unmistakable Talmud.
Lefi she ikar ma she yilmadhu ha'adam v'chachma hu hagavlas devarim. So according to the essence of the learning of his learning, of the learning of a man with wisdom, he what is hagavlas?
That hagbalas. I mean, let's let's back up a bit. He said that the getter of wisdom and the siman, sure siman of wisdom is that it's silence. Why? Meaning because primarily what a person learns and becomes his wisdom, his wisdom is hagbalas. Hagbalas is defined. His hagbalas devarim is by the like choosing of his words. Hagbalas the rhyme is like his choosing the choice of his words.
Okay. V'tikunam hakitsuram v'hashtika meruvam. So the repair of the
Right.
few, pardon?
You know, like that again, the essence of what a person learns in wisdom is indicated through his choice of words and the structure and shortness of his statements. Stika Baruba and his great great silence.
V'hu mivoar she ha dibur ha nosef v'shevuso v'val volo lo yichshach v'lo yasar rak b'chavlei hachacham hachachama. I need help with this.
Okay. V'hu mivura, and its explanation is as follows. V'hu mivura, the explanation is as follows. Shadibur hanoise, that extraneous words, right, or extraneous or unnecessary speech, vishuvushoi, and shuvusho would be and it's complicatedness, and maybe it's in confusion. Shadibur noise, that I think let's put it like this, that the dibur hanoisef, meaning the extraneous words and differences and complications, lo yash yishrash will not benefit, lo yasser won't indicate rak bechevli hachachma is only found in those who are bechevli hachachma, those who are confused in wisdom. When you have a person who's going to be saying a lot of things, right, and they are confusing, he's saying a lot of confusing things, that's only to be found and is indicated by those people who are confused in their knowledge. And if their knowledge is something which is clear, explication. But if they're not clear, so the words will many times be very lengthy and unclear. Okay.
Okay, that's clear.
Okay.
Siag lachachma shtika, a offense for wisdom is silence. Dehayinu kishehu chacham tov, that it is when he is a wise, tovlo, it's good for him. Lishmor chachamaso, to guard his wisdom. V'yaseh la le siag b'shtika, and to make for it a fence of silence. Shalo yirbei devarim, that there are not many words.
Right. There shouldn't be excess words. Shouldn't be a lot of words.
Okay.
Right. So when a person is, so he says, when a person's wise, toivlo, it's good for him, lishmor chachmaso, that he should preserve his wisdom, and make a fence for it through silence, that he shouldn't speak a lot. Okay.
So, so this idea of guarding or protecting his wisdom, what is the concern, that if he speaks a lot, he's going to lose his wisdom?
The speaking a lot will many times, let's put it this way. It depends from which point of view you're discussing. Are you discussing somebody, as we just learned now, a person apparently he is now a chacham now, and the fence which you want to make to guard your chachma is that of silence, right? That in lishmor, it says lishmor chachmasai. The way that he should guard his wisdom is through silence. So when a person has something he's thinking about, it's not good to speak too soon about what you're thinking about, because when a person is going to say something, right, especially and usually when a person's talking, he's talking with other people around, right? So he's talking to somebody else. So when a person says something, so even if he may be thinking about it, and they may think it's true what he's saying, but if he talks too much, he may find himself making mistakes. And a lot of times people, because if they make a mistake, they'll sometimes be faced with a nesoyan, a test as to whether or not they have to admit to the mistake or try and defend their mistake, right? You have a person, many times people realize they made a mistake, but not everyone is honest enough with themselves to admit that they made a mistake, right? So if a person makes a mistake and he's honest enough with himself and with other people to admit that he made a mistake, it's okay, so he can correct the situation. But if a person is afraid of being found or admitting, he's afraid to admit to a mistake, so then he'll try and defend his mistake, which will just lead him further and further away from the truth. So a way to, the farther he gets away from the truth, the farther he's going to be leaving his his wisdom behind. So it could be that by talking too much and open a person up to making mistake, that could be a way of losing one's wisdom, right? So therefore, by speaking little and choosing your words carefully, that's a way to preserve your wisdom. Because if you're speaking carefully and succinctly, that will allow yourself to say the words that are verifiably to be true and known to be true, and you won't have to contradict yourself, and you won't have to, even worse, try and defend your own mistakes.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Okay, so Sefer HaChasidim,
yes, this is the Sefer HaChasidim, right?
Barum Devarim, Barov Devarim, Lo Yachdal Pasha, Simle.
So that's a pasuk. That's a pasuk in Mishle.
Mishle.
Mishle, right? That's a pasuk in Mishle. Barov devarim lo yichdal pesha. Through a lot of words, they won't be lacking any negligence. You know, with a lot of words, there's going to be negligence there.
Le'alam yirbei adam b'shtika v'al yidaber kalal ella b'divrei hachachamim. So generally, many people are silent, and they don't speak at all except words of wisdom.
I mean, he's like saying this to you. He says, "La'olam yirba adam b'shtika." A person should always be, in general, very, very silent.
And only speak words of wisdom?
That's right.
Oh, bidevarim hatzarichim lo litorcha gufo, or with words that are necessary for him for something about his body.
Right, for the needs of his body, for his physical needs. So he's saying that a person generally should always be as quiet as possible, and not to speak at all except in Divrei Chachma, in the words of the Chachamim, or for the needs of his physical necessities. That's what a person should in general be talking about. And without that, other than that, a person shouldn't be talking too much.
It just occurred to me,
That's right.
are we talking about men or women, or men and women?
It goes for everybody. Yeah, it goes for everybody.
I thought there were different rules for women.
If you know, let me know. I'd like to know those rules.
No, because it doesn't seem.
I just got a call from my plumber. He's coming in a few minutes, so I'm going to have to leave the class. Sorry about that. I'll stay until he comes.
We're about to stop for a break anyway in a few minutes. So
we keep referring to a Talmud Chacham. I mean, that's usually we're talking about men. right? So I mean, that's what I thought, that we were referring to the rules for men.
Right, but it applies to women too. They, they also.
Rabbi, I made you the host so that you can run the show when I'm not here.
Okay, thank you, Lou. Very good. Thank you.
Do women know that?
You can start a seminary if you want.
I don't know. I don't know about not talking.
Well,
Well, women have a role in a community of kind of being the social glue that holds the community together. That may be what you're referring to, Barry. That they will be more communicative about who needs something, who's sick, who's pregnant, who arranging meals and things like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I hear.
yeah, so that's what we're
Okay.
talking about. Sarki or goofy. It's permissible to talk about those things which are necessary,
Mhm.
right? Which it says, right? Divine atrikim lo l'tzorach goof. Those which are needed for the tzorach goof, and certainly for a mitzvah, it's permissible to talk for a mitzvah. That's for sure.
No, I thought there was like an opinion that women just have a need to talk more than men biologically. They I mean, that's one of the reasons why they are the primary caregivers for the children, because they have to be chattering to the children all the time.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's do another line or two.
I'm going to ask somebody else to read because I may have to leave any second.
Okay, so we're in the middle of the second line there. Amro alav al Rav Talmido shel Rabbeinu HaKodesh. It said about Rav, who was a Talmud of Rabbeinu HaKodesh, shelo sak sika b'tela kol yomav. He never spoke any unnecessary words during his whole life. Okay, I'll tell you, it's a good time we've gone to our time limit anyway, so maybe it's a good time to stop here. Let's take a break for the next year. And we'll be coming back soon. Okay,
So I'm going to switch the recording now, and I'll leave it on.
very good. Okay.